Stepping through the front, got me lounging in the back, celebrating with the team, tell the DJ run it back. I've been getting money, ho, grinding with my kinfolk, riding in the Benzo, sitting on Lorenzo's.
Yeah. What's going on, everybody? It's the Commissioner, aka Trill Dollar Bill, man. Listen, you're not watching the Commissioner's recap, so just chill, relax. This is not the Commissioner's recap at all. This is something special. This is something beautiful. This is something monumental. This is something that's going to go down in history. And you right now, if you're tuned in, you're on the ground floor of something, like my brother Trey would like to say, something that's very tremendous. And what I'm talking about is Fight Night Chronicles. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first episode of Fight Night Chronicles. And before, I get into anything else, I got to have a word from my sponsors. Yeah, big up to Trey. Big up to you, my brother. And like he says, this right here is the first series, to this great show. Is Fight Night Chronicles. And I'm gonna bring out my co-host, but before I do, I'm gonna read something that he put in the comment section. That was so dope. He said, "Tell the wife and kids not to disturb you for the next hour. Headphones and snacks and drinks ready. Strap in. This is going to be fire." Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor and my pleasure to introduce to you my co-host. This is a guy that I've been dying to do this show with for over a year. This show's been in the making. Anytime you hear me talk about this guy, I can do nothing but give him his flowers and show him love. It's the classy one. It's my brother. It's your brother. It's Mr. Neutral. How you doing, Mr.
What's
Neutral?
the word, Trill Dollar Bill? We're here, mate.
Yes, we're finally here. We are finally here, and it's here. It's finally here. It's Fight Night Chronicles, and what we're chronicling today is one of the most epic fights ever. And we're not going to talk too much about it right now, but it's this episode 1, and we're going to be talking about one of the biggest fights in history. Before we get into that, how you doing, Mr. Neutral?
I'm very well, mate. Very well. Absolutely stoked to be doing this collaboration with Red Corner Boxing and iBoxingHub. Like you said, we've been planning this for over a year. We had that chat where we said, "Do you think this would be a great idea?" You were so into it, and from then we've created this, and just can't wait to bring the fans this nostalgic look at all the great fights, not quite seen before on new media or any kind of media, as a documentary. Even you won't get this kind of in-depth look. So just to give the fans that viewpoint of what life was like back then, and all the build up leading into these fights, absolutely tremendous. And this is going to be a fire show for sure. And I'm just honored to be with you by your side, mate, to do it.
Yeah, definitely. It's a big honor. Once again, man, you mentioned it too. This is a dope collaboration between iBoxingHub and Red Corner Boxing. I definitely want to send much love out to Trey and James for, coming together and making our dream come true. You know what I'm saying? They backed us 100% on this project, man, and I'm sure that everybody is going to love it, man, because it's coming from two guys who really love this sport. I'm talking about the sport of boxing. But yeah, like I said, this is an amazing show. We have an amazing show set up for y'all. We will be talking about no other than the Rumble in the Jungle. George Foreman versus Muhammad Ali. This is the show that we're going to be talking about. I mean, this is during this show. That's actually the fight that we're going to be talking about, and we're going to be chronicling. So yeah, sit tight. This is going to be a good one. Before we move forward, though, I got some exciting news. I got some really exciting news. Y'all know that my video for Trofiki is out. You know, we showed that on the Commissioners Club, and there go the Q code if you want to download the song right there. It's right there, and it's in the corner right there. You can do that right now. You can download it. Bow. But also, like everybody know, dropped a new song on Halloween with my son. It's called Savage. It's out now on all streaming services. We already shot the video for that, so that's gonna be out now. It's gonna be one of those ones you're gonna love it. But yeah, talking about this show today, the first show on Fight Night Chronicles is the Rumble in the Jungle. I know people. Yeah, shout out to Trey. Thank you, thank you. I know a lot of people. They heard about this fight, you know, growing up. I know a lot of people probably wasn't around. Like if you're like my age, you probably wasn't born yet. Some people, you know, this is the anniversary. It was just a few days ago, the 51st anniversary of this fight. I'm not quite in my 50s yet, but they had just celebrated the 51st anniversary of the Rumble in the Jungle. This monumental fight was one for the ages. You know, it was definitely one for the ages. We're going to talk a little bit more about the fight. We're going to get in depth. We got a lot of footage and everything that we're going to share with you guys. I'm just waiting for my brother, Mr. Neutral, to return back, and then we're going to get right into it, you know, because this was a big fight. And emotions are going to be running high too, because when you dissect this fight, it talks more than just about a fight, you know, between two guys in a ring. This fight was bigger than that. You talk about overcoming wills, overcoming adversity. Even on the flip side, coming back, even what George Foreman was able to do when he came back after this, after taking time off after this fight. But we'll get into that. This fight was an inspiration for all. And I know everybody knows the quote, Ali, Boombaye. No matter how old you are, if you love this sport of boxing, I'm sure that you done heard that from watching movies or watching highlights or hearing the old ones talk about this fight. But this fight was definitely one of those ones. I know it seems like I'm just been sitting here running my mouth and stuff like that, but I'm gonna let my brother, Mr. Neutral, kick us off with Mr. Neutral. I'm sitting here, you see me, I'm sitting here, you know, keeping the people entertained and stuff right there while you was handling your business. When we talk about this fight and this this fight is 51-year anniversary of this mega fight, the Rumble in the Jungle. I was just kicking it with the people, and I was just telling them this fight is bigger than just two guys in the ring throwing punches. This is
Absolutely.
yeah. This fight right here, we're gonna get into it because there's a lot of things that people don't mention in this fight. And I went back and I watched this fight, and you know, I don't know, is it because of my old age, but you know, I'm getting sensitive and soft in my old age. You know what I'm saying? I always say that because I went back and I watched the fight, and I got emotional because I noticed things that people didn't notice. Not only was it the fight was going on, just the man, listen, I won't be able to tell you until you see it yourself, and when you see it, you're gonna be like, wow.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
showed a lot about yourself as a person. It shows about things that we have to go through in our lives, ups and downs, people doubting us, you know, and then even a great comeback story. It was a great comeback story for both gentlemen, one during the ring and outside of the ring for George Foreman. So, Mr. Neutral, I'm gonna swing it to you because I've been doing a lot of talking. What is when you think of the Rumble of the Jungle, what comes to your mind?
Well, I mean, obviously, it happened in my lifetime, Trill. And it's not until you get to adulthood, and I was not until the mid-90s, and I thought, you know, just how much of an impact in boxing that fight had. And let's go back to the conception of the fight. of Rumble in the Jungle. And Don King, he had a vision that not many could see, and certainly had no backing back in the day from anywhere at home. No financial backers, no promoters, no commissions would even dream of displaying this fight for the kind of money that Don King was offering these two gentlemen. I believe it was like $5 million each. And at that stage, that sort of money was 10 million. And at that stage, that money was, fantasy money. So he fought tooth and nail to get this fight done, but he knew it wouldn't happen in America, so he had to take it abroad. And there was a man in Sesu, and I can't remember his full name. Maybe if Trey could put his picture up, Sesu, the ruler of Zaire. That's him in the middle there. He was very, very interested in making this fight happen in his country to, give his country a boost culturally, financially, and put Zaire on the global stage. And he sought financial backers from abroad, like David Hemmings. We got a picture of him there, the British actor, an entrepreneur who ran Hemdale Film Corporation, and they actually filmed the whole thing and distributed it worldwide. So he started to put the package together, Don King, and he was going to bring not only a boxing match, Trill, but he was going to bring culture to the world. He envisioned a worldwide audience never seen before, that, looking back on it, we take for granted now. Just how historic, the whole event was. And having said that, once he had secured the fight, the funding for the money, he was going to get it filmed. He wanted it to do it free to the world, but cinemas had to pay a premium, a bit like PPV today. So, it had that all in place, with, and only in Zaire could he make this happen with the type of event he wanted to do. And it was a fantastic achievement just to get the logistical side of it done in 1974, and to bring these two gentlemen together. Now, if you're talking about the two fighters themselves, you had George Foreman, who was just destroying everybody, unbeaten, undisputed. Nobody gave Ali much of a chance in this build-up, Trill. And it wasn't until, that Ali got to Zaire and he started to turn the tide of, support towards himself. I'll pass it back to you about Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, definitely. Like you were saying about George Foreman, George Foreman was on a tear. He was knocking out everybody. We seen what he did to Frazier, who gave Muhammad Ali that loss, when he came back. And then to see this young man, George Foreman, destroy the way he destroyed Joe Frazier, everybody was like, Muhammad Ali didn't stand a chance against this young man. They were doubting him. Everybody was doubting Muhammad Ali. They was like, this was the end for the champ. But people believed in him in Africa, and they came out with one of the most famous chants that I was saying earlier, Ali, Boombaye. But build up before the fight, just like how you said, Mr. Neutral. I got a little couple of footage about how guys was before this fight and how they was perceived. The brash Muhammad Ali, will go with him first.
That I go out of boxing just like I came in, defeating a big bad monster that nobody could destroy. A hard punch. I'm the underdog. If he hits me, I'm in trouble, like the Sonny Liston fight. But I came back and I shook the world and I got Liston. Now it's 10 years since Sonny Liston. I'm meeting another big, bad, strong monster knockout artist that beats everybody. Sonny Liston knocked out Patterson twice, and I was supposed to fall, but he didn't knock me out. Because he could hit hard, but he couldn't find nothing to hit. George Foreman knocked out Ken Norton, knocked out Joe Frazier. True, I didn't knock him out, but I'm so fast, I'm so hard hit, I'm so scientific. I'm a total different man from Frazier and Norton. Listen, David, when I meet this man, if you think the world was surprised when Nixon resigned, wait till I whip Foreman's behind. I'm telling you, David, I'm down to 215 pounds. Right now, I said it when 215. I'm fighting weight already. I usually train 6 weeks for fight. I've trained 4 months for fight. I'm chopping trees. I've done something special. I've wrestled with an alligator. I've tussled with a...
I believe you totally. I believe you completely.
I have tussled with a whale. I done handcuffed lightning, throw thunder in jail. Now, you know I'm bad. Only last week, I murdered a rock, injured a stone, hospitalized a brick. I'm so mean I make medicine sick. Man's in trouble. Listen, George Foreman, people are afraid of George Foreman. They talk about how hard he hits. The world has been deceived. You listen to me now. I've never told you wrong. The man don't hit hard. He knocked Joe Frazier down 6 times. He got up 6 times. Joe King Roman, his Tokyo, Japan fight, the Puerto Rican champion, knocked him down 3 times. He jumped up 3 times. He knocked Ken Norton down 4 times. He jumpp up 4 times. When have you ever saw the man say 7, 8, 9, 10, count his man out? When I hit Sonny Liston the second fight, he stayed out for the count of 10. Zora Foley stayed out for the count of 10. Cleveland Williams stayed out for the count of 10. What few I have knocked out stayed down. Sugar Ray Robinson knocked him out for the count of 30. Joe Louis, Marciana, Jack Dempsey, Jack Johnson, Archie Moore as a child, they knock him out cold. So this man has never knocked nobody out cold. He's a bully. He's slow. He has no skill, no footwork. He's awkward. And I have given him a name. I named Floyd Patterson the Rabbit. I named Sonny Liston the Bear. And he shall be known as officially as the Mummy. The Mummy.
Oh, I'm just enjoying myself. You see me, Mr. Neutral, I got my popcorn. Hard cheese popcorn. I got my lemonade. I'm cooling. You seen the confidence. You seen the confidence and Muhammad Ali, man. You know, he said, I'm so mean, I make medicine sick. You heard me? You know, and it was a beautiful moment when he was walking into the ring and he had all those people around. He said, why y'all looking all sad? You know what I'm saying? Y'all looking all sad like I'm gonna lose. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
They were frightened of Foreman. Such was the fierceness of his reputation, and included in that build-up. Let's not forget, you know, that he in the heat and humidity of Zaire, when George Foreman was sparring and training, he got cut. He got elbowed by one of his sparring partners, Bill McMurray. There he is, there in the picture. And, you know, he was afraid of getting knocked out because Foreman was actually running out of sparring partners and protecting himself. McMurray actually elbowed Foreman, causing a cut, causing a 5-week delay from like September the 25th to October the 30th. And that surely affected Foreman, in the process of that. So going into this Ali fight, it wasn't the Foreman that, you know, people were expecting in 1974 because of that very traumatic, you know, build up to the fight. The cut had healed, but I don't think inside it healed going into that fight. But, you know, I'm not taking away nothing from George Foreman because, you know, what happened in that fight as we're about to see was something truly epic.
Yeah, definitely. And the build-up was amazing. And, you know, there was a lot of ring outsiders that still didn't give Muhammad Ali a chance. They figured that he was the older fighter and this is a young man's game, you know, and they figured that, you know, the young, powerful man was going to take out the old lion. We got some more footage of before we get into the fight.
Scrutable George Foreman. One is hard put to know what he really thinks. The boisterous Muhammad Ali, and one never knows what he really thinks. Hello again, everyone. I'm Howard Cosell. An in-depth look at the two fighters who will be vying come Tuesday night in Central Africa for the heavyweight championship of the world. In Central Park, New York City, on a glorious day just prior to his departure for Zaire, I spoke with Muhammad Ali about his life. Now with the Foreman fight coming up, do you find yourself thinking back ever to how it all started for you as a kid in Louisville, how you became a fighter?
Well, I thought about that a lot. It didn't take the Foreman fight to make me start thinking back. I've been thinking about that all the time. I always think about that.
How did it happen?
How I became a fighter? Somebody stole my bicycle, and I wanted to learn how to fight so I could beat up the boy who stole it. And when I get to Zaire, I'm going to pretend George is the one who stole my bike.
Foreman is a disciple of Sonny Liston's. You know that, and I know that. He admired the man, he sparred with him, he used to go to visit him. It may be that in some respects, although years have passed, and you were the youngster then, and Liston was the older, this fight is a little like the first fight against Liston, with Foreman assuming the role of the big bad
Yes,
bear.
this present fight with George Foreman is only a reflection of my past fight with Sonny Liston. I predict that I'll dance on this man. It'll be 1 round, 2 rounds, 3 rounds. Round 4, I'll win every round easy. He'll be tired. He'll be puffing like Liston. He'll be swinging and missing. I'll be ducking and dancing and popping, bruising him, little mouses under his eyes, sweating and cutting and sticking in and out, not like Joe Frazier, not like Ken Norton, but a scientific, artistic, fast, great fighter. In and out. Brrr, pop, over here. No, I'm over there. What you know over here? No, I'm over there. No, I'm over here. Why are you over there? See, that kind of stuff. Pop, 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 pop.
Well, being us both religious people, Mohammed and myself, he'll be very fortunate if I don't act as an exorcist and beat the devil out of him.
Now that each fighter has spoken his piece about the other, the time may have come to say goodbye to Muhammad Ali, because very honestly, I don't think he can beat George Foreman. It's hard for me, as a reporter, to be totally objective in this case, because Muhammad Ali has been a significant factor in my own career. I thought, before he was idled for 3.5 years, he was the best fighter I ever saw. I still think he's a remarkable athlete, and one can never put anything beyond him for that reason. Maybe he can pull off a miracle. But against George Foreman, so young, so strong, so fearless, against George Foreman, who does away with his opponents one after another in less than 3 rounds, it's hard for me to conjure with that. After this fight, I suspect Ali will retire. And through all of the years, my own memories of him will be as a fighter and as the strange and curious and gregarious and engaging and sometimes cruel and sometimes family man that he is. I suspect that for the rest of his life, the enthusiasm will still be there. Even when he's out of boxing, he'll be all that boxing has. Thank you.
Man, listen, I'm sitting here watching this like I ain't doing the show. See how amazing the show is. You dig? I'm with you, Trey. Blessings, definitely. I'm loving this too. You know, Mr. Neutral, when you see these interviews, I'm sitting here, I'm feeling like this is happening now, and this has happened 51 years ago.
Exactly. I mean, as I said before, this happened in my lifetime. I remember watching that some years later, I was thinking, oh, how wrong you were, sir. With that heartfelt sort of, it was almost a eulogy to, Muhammad Ali in 1974, at the age of 34 years of age. And it's unthinkable to even think about that in this day and age. But that was the sentiment in them days. towards George Foreman. You know, such was the fearsome reputation. Ali was himself, since his incarceration and release, was back on a 14 fight run. However, he had lost 2 fights in that run to Ken Norton by split decision. The other one was, Joe Frazier, by unanimous decision. And in the way that George Foreman had actually destroyed these 2 gentlemen in less than 3 rounds, led to the thinking of the media at the time. So, you know, the odds were heavily stacked against Muhammad Ali going into that fight. Such was his name today. People have to remind themselves that when did Muhammad Ali get this status, this GOAT status? And it was here.
Mm-hmm.
It was here. And it wasn't just because of the fight. You've got to look at what the country did for that fight, what the people did for that fight. You know, what Don King produced with his backers and the patience of the whole thing to spread over 6 weeks. It was something else to pull off amidst all the caveats and obstacles put in the way, and then finally to pull it off. So back to you, sir.
No, beautifully said. Everything that it took to make this fight, even there was a lot of scrutiny with the president of Zaire. People was talking about the things that was going on in the country at the time. Yeah, the people did love him, and they would chant when he was there. He was their people, their person. Actually, they seen the stuff that he went through over here, and they identified with Muhammad Ali, and they wanted him to win. We're going to get into the fight, because when you watch this fight, it's hard. Like I was talking to Mr. Neutral, who was chopping it up earlier. It's hard not to get emotional, like, right? If you really love the sport and you realize what was at stake at this fight. Both guys, this fight, like you were saying, this fight was a $10 million fight, right? Both guys was awarded $5 million for this fight, right? But more than the money, this showed a lot about character. You know, and it showed a lot about, like, when I say about boxing, why I love this sport so much, I think other sports is cool. Don't get me wrong. I think basketball is cool, football is cool, all these sports, all these sports is cool, but it's nothing like boxing, because boxing is like real life, right? Because sometimes you get beat down, and you know you got to try to make a comeback, and you know you might get knocked down again, and it's just like a life when you're going through. This fight had a little bit of everything. Had a little bit of violence, a little bit of excitement, a little bit of danger, and then it had love, and then it had compassion. We're gonna get into that, how beautiful this fight really was. Mr. Neutral, do you have any words before we get into this beautiful fight, the Rumble in the Jungle?
The Rumble in the Jungle, 1974 in Zaire. You're about to experience what was to be the greatest fight of the 20th century, if not of all time. What you're about to witness is pure genius, pure brutality, pure blood, sweat, and tears. And in the heat of Zaire at 4 o'clock in the morning, try and put yourselves, strap in, try and put yourselves in the position, try be in the crowd, try be ringside, put yourself there and just feel everything. Enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Got my popcorn.
By that blow, vicious right hand.
Oh man, this is entertaining, Mr. Neutral. I had to stop to ask you real fast, because this is entertaining. This is, and I just wanted to shout out to everybody that's locked in with us right now. How are you feeling? How are you feeling, my brother, so far watching this?
Again, brings chills back. I remember watching this 30 years ago in its entirety, and just seeing it from round one, seeing, you know, just before the bell, and seeing the commentators, the way they were saying that George Foreman was staring Ali straight down in the face. He's trying to intimidate him. And then when the bell started, round one, and they started wailing on each other, you could already tell, you know, the crowd were absolutely, every punch that Ali threw, they were cheering. You know, it's like, way, way. And when Foreman was wailing on Ali, you know, some would boo. It was such was the support for Ali at the time. So what was striking in that first 5 rounds was round 2, when Ali started the rope-a-dope. The one that phrase that we know today was born from Ali in this fight. And you saw it from the round 2. He stayed on the ropes, conserving energy. He knew George Foreman, the 25-year-old, a brutal destruction of a man, a 225 pound, you know, wrecking ball machine. You know, he let him wail on him. The rope-a-dope was born. It come into effect, and you could see the sapping energy going out of George Foreman, round by round, until we get to round 5, where you stopped it.
Yeah, and it was so beautiful. As another thing too, you mentioned the rope-a-dope, but what's also was dope about that fight too, people don't talk about how he was precise and he was firing off of the rope-a-dope. He was firing. He wasn't just sitting on the ropes getting him. When he seen the open, he was like laser position. Bow, bow, right down the middle, hitting George right in his face. The crowd was going crazy. So George was taking some punishment, you know, through this whole time. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
He just wasn't the one just giving punishment.
He was
getting hit with some shots as well.
And he was rocking him. He was rocking Foreman as well, which nobody'd seen before. You know, until round 5. And it was at that time when the tide of judgment, of thought pattern about this, how this fight was going to go, started to evolve. People were starting to change their minds when they started saying, Ali doing all this, firing back and rocking the man. They started to see the strategy.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to get right back into the action. Like I said, man, listen. that was beautiful. That was beautiful, Mr. Neutral. When you see that ending, yo, this is talk about a beautiful fight, right? Talk about a beautiful fight. Yo, there's just so much stuff goes in. We talk about excitement. You talk about, shout out to everybody that's locked in with us right now. You talk about excitement. You talk about having a fight, having everything, the drama, the character of Muhammad Ali. He's sitting there pulling George in, saying, "That's all you got, George?" Yelling in his ear, "Are you getting tired, George?" You know what I'm saying? This was beautiful. When you seen this fight, the end of the fight, what's the first thing that came to your mind?
Wow. Just wow. If you take into account everything that happened before the build-up, the whole story from start to finish for Muhammad Ali to basically a second career, you know, one before his incarceration, one afterwards. When you saw what happened, the way he done it, the punishment he took, the occasion, the culture, and the way the crowd inspired him with every punch that he threw, and were there with him every punch that he took, you just can't help but say, "Wow!" moment. That was the moment where eyes were opened to this man, to his greatness, because that today that today just cannot be replicated with such factors involved. And it's still amazing to this day that I can look back on that and just not. I still go, wow, the chills. The way he finished that fight from round 6 and 7, he took control of George Foreman. He could, George. You saw yourself at round 7, the end of that. He couldn't throw a punch. He was leaning on Ali. The game plan, the strategy had worked. So it just has to be recognized as the greatest boxing show event I've ever seen or ever witnessed, or look back on, studied, researched. There's never been an event like it from start to finish. So, and it's a wow moment. You get very few of them wow moments in boxing. That was one of them. Yeah, you're on mute, mate.
Oh yeah, I said one of the moments to me that was beautiful for me was the last couple of moments at the end of the fight. Is when Muhammad Ali had George Foreman hurt, and the compassion that he showed and the love that he showed to me was amazing. George Foreman is hurt and he's going down, and when he's going down, his hands is up and his face is like this. Muhammad Ali has a pure, easy. He got his face caught back. He can land the fatal blow, and he shows composure, shows discipline. It was a lot, and he didn't throw that punch. He knew he had his man beat. He knew he had his man hurt, and there was no need for that. And that he got so much respect from George Foreman as well.
Yeah, because as you saw Ali in that interview before the fight, he told you what he was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And he done it to the letter. Ali, there was never such a thing as overkill with Ali. He done the job and what he needed to do and how to execute it. So, as far as that is concerned, that has got to be one of the most well executed strategic policy a boxer has ever implemented in a not even just a world title fight, but an undisputed fight as that. It was something else. That plan to dismantle a man who was 9 years your youth in 91-degree heat at 4 o'clock in the morning in Zaire. He took his man apart after taking so much punishment. It was a beautiful ending to a brutal, opening to a story. The happy ending, if you like, to such a brutal movie type effect as that fight. It was a movie from start to finish. Such was the drama. Such was the players that were involved. Colonel Bob Sheridan, who was, calling the fight. To James Brown sitting ringside with BB King.
Mm-hmm. Live concert that they had. Remember
exactly.
They had a huge concert. It was crazy. This was a big spectacle, Mr. Neutral. This definitely was a big spectacle. Don't mean to cut you off. I actually just wanted to inform everybody that was properly watching us on YouTube. This is our first show. And there's going to be a little bit of the chinks and stuff that we need to work out. I know that they stopped our live for YouTube, but we're still on other platforms. So if you're logged on to X, Twitch, whatever, you can lock in with us on there, Instagram, and you can watch us right now. Like I said, this is me and Mr. Neutral's first show, and we decided to do the Rumble in the Jungle. We had some technical difficulties. So once again, I thank you to everybody who's watching us, who's locked in with us right now for this monumental occasion. This is Fight Night Chronicles, and I want to thank everybody that's in the comment section showing love. You know, I appreciate y'all from the heart. But yeah, definitely, Mr. Neutral. Yeah, I was gonna let you finish. I just wanted to let everybody know that we're sorry for the technical difficulties, and we'll get it right for the next time.
Oh, absolutely. These things happen. You know, many shows we've had the same problems, similar with YouTube and that, but we'll get there. We always do.
Yeah.
Now, you know, we're getting back to that ending. You know, tell me what you know when you first saw that fight, that ending. What was going through your mind?
I had got a better respect for Muhammad Ali. Because we're in that age of boxing, right? Everybody wants to see brutality. They want to see people hurt. And you talk about a fight, when somebody's in a fight and how emotions are running high and stuff like that, just to see the know-how, to be aware, the awareness, and being in the midst of fighting and still having the compassion not to want to hurt your fellow brother, because at the end of the day, this is a competition. All this is a sport. I'm not trying to kill this man. I'm trying to beat him in a sport. And he showed nothing but love and compassion for his brother when a lot of people would have did the latter. You see so many times where people want to kick you while you're down, right? There was a time where, yeah, he beat him, and he could have landed that fatal blow to make it even, because George Foreman's hands was by his side. He was vulnerable. He was defenseless. Muhammad Ali had that right hand cocked, and he never threw it. And then when George Foreman was when he was down, who was there to lift him up? The champ, Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali.
But I'm gonna let George Foreman talk a little bit more about that, and then we'll have our closing remarks.
Nightmare then, because had me ahead to win by knockout, as a matter of fact. And once I lost that fight, I was devastated.
Look at that face. Look at that face. The man who can scarcely believe what has happened to him.
The thrill is gone away.
I didn't understand losing. He knew something about that, so he prepared himself. He reserved his power and his strength. I had nothing in the back of my mind to shield me or protect me, so I lie in devastation.
George Foreman, the man who is totally invincible.
After I retired from boxing, left boxing in the 70s, I became a minister at the Church of the Lord Jesus Christ. I'm still doing so. And I realized that a reporter asked me, what happened in Africa, George? Surely something happened. And I admitted that I'd lost the boxing match. I said, I got proof. From that point on, I was able to cope, because I realized not only did I lose the boxing match, but I'd lost the greatest man I've ever met. Somebody who would never give up.
George Foreman, how you doing? Your name, as young as you are, in my training camp, me working with you, get your weight down, and you're not fighting for money. God knows what's in your heart. You ain't got to answer to man. See, man judges man's actions. God judges man's heart. You go in the ring for God. Now you got the whole world shook up. George Foreman came back. Now you go out and start preaching. You got thousands of people coming. You don't go out a loser. You go out a winner. And that's just the wild idea I had.
Sometimes people come to me and say, what do you think? Was Muhammad Ali the greatest boxer? And I feel almost insulted, because boxing was just something he did. I mean, that's no way to define Muhammad Ali. He was one of the greatest men to ever appear on the scene of the earth.
Rest in peace, George Foreman. Rest in peace, Muhammad Ali. Two great men, two great warriors. The respect that these gentlemen had for each other after sharing the ring with each other is wonderful. George would be like, he used to call Muhammad Ali and be like, "Hey, I want a rematch." Muhammad would be like, "You're crazy." He said, how's your wife, Muhammad Ali? How's your wife? He was like, "She crazy." You know, so he was like, Muhammad Ali was always himself to the very end, man. And yeah, man, just seeing that George Foreman, how he talked about Muhammad Ali and how Muhammad Ali talked about George, I just think it was beautiful, man. I just think it was beautiful. And I'm glad that we got a chance to share this moment with everybody, because with so much slack that this sport gets, there's a lot of love and there's a lot of real history and a lot of things we could be proud about when it comes to the sport of boxing, and the Rumble in the Jungle is one of them. Mr. Neutral.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the typical story of redemption for George Foreman after losing that fight to Muhammad Ali in the heat of Kinshasa. Um, Obviously, he was very bitter for years about that defeat. You know, a lot of hatred in his heart. It wasn't until years later, some 10 years later, that he realized the error of his ways through God, and embraced the man as his friend. And you know, and expressed his deep regret that he hadn't done it sooner. However, the beautiful words that he said, that he's insulted when asked the question, "Is he the greatest boxer he's ever boxed?" No, he said, "It's the greatest man I've ever met." Just to come out with something like that is purely it's godly. You know what I mean? And that was the nature of the man. He was a man of God, and yeah, George Foreman. He redeemed his life and went on to have another fabulous career, become a world champion again, and all under the umbrella, of God. And it's truly amazing, and yeah. So a wonderful story, a wonderful fight, a fight that impacted the world culturally. It impacted the boxing world. Don King became an overnight legend and pulling this off to an audience of 1 billion, generating $119 million and leaving us with iconic pictures like that of the once unmeasurable George Foreman. He who could not be beaten before this fight was taken apart by the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
What a fight, what an event.
Yeah, it was beautiful, man. You think about George Foreman, but we talk about Muhammad Ali. Everybody know the greatest, and we know he's an icon. But both of these gentlemen are icons. Mr. George Foreman, 2 careers, right? When he left and then he came back, and what he did, we're gonna end up chronicling one of his fights, and it was his comeback fight actually, when he won the title against Michael Moore. I know that we're gonna end up chronicling that night, coming up very soon, probably. So yeah, when you think of that, and then you think about the things he was able to do outside of boxing because of his personality. Everybody loved Big George Foreman. Everybody loved him. He had the commercials when he had his kids. He was like, "Hey, there's George, and George, and George, and George." You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, when he dropped the Foreman grills, became a multimillionaire. You know, he was in everybody's homes. George Foreman is an icon as well. Much love to George Foreman and the Foreman family.
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali and the Ali family. This was the first episode of Fight Night Chronicles, episode 1. We had a little bit of technical difficulties on YouTube, but I got word back from my brothers, Jim and Trey, that we got back on YouTube. YouTube was like, "Hey, we made a mistake. We're sorry, guys."
Yeah.
Like we thought it was somebody else. You know what I'm saying? We didn't that it was you guys. You know what I'm saying? So they put us back on. They recognized who it was. They put us back on.
They go, we're sorry, man. We're sorry, man.
And we'll be here. We're back next week with another dope episode. It'll be episode 2 of Fight Night Chronicles. Please let us know how you feel in the comments section. You already know I'm the commissioner, aka Trill Dollar Bill. I just want to thank y'all personally from the bottom of my heart for just tuning in and giving us your support and showing us your love and locking in with us and watching this momentum and this I can't even think of the word. I'm trying to think of a word that can describe how big this fight is. This is like one of the biggest fights in boxing history. Like when you want to talk to somebody about boxing or somebody's talking about boxing, this is one of the fights that you mentioned. No matter how old you are, everybody knows about the Rumble in the Jungle. Made so many movies about it. You know what I'm saying? This is one of those iconic fights. Mr. Neutral, I can go on and ramble on and on about this fight, but we're almost done for today. You get the last words, Mr. Neutral. I'm just so excited that we finally are here for Fight Night Chronicles, and I get to do it with somebody that I have nothing but the most love and respect for, the classy one. So this is locked in. Much love to James and Trey in the background making it happen. Those are my guys. You already know how we rocking. You know what I'm saying? But you got the floor, Mr. Neutral.
Well, first and foremost, is the realised the ambition that we wanted to make this program has happened. Much love to you. As always, my man, thank you so much. This has been brilliant. Again, we had technical difficulties at the start, even with my camera. The gods tried and they failed. We conquered. Veni, vidi, vici. We came, we saw, we conquered. Right? Come and see the next one. This has been an absolute fire show. Thank you to Trey and Jams in the background, keeping us legal. You know what I mean? Keeping us legal at the same time with YouTube as well. They tried, they failed. We're going to be back next week, episode 2. And Trill, can't wait. Just can't wait, mate. Let's go.
You already make sure y'all subscribe to Red Quarter Boxing. Make sure you subscribe to iBoxingHub. This is Fight Night Chronicles, and we're out of here. Please like and subscribe. Much love and